Hey, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to my YouTube channel. I know I've been missing in action, but I have a lot going on in my personal life. As you guys know, my sister is fighting colon cancer, and I just found out that my brother has prostate cancer, and also my uncle been in and out of the hospital. So I haven't been able to get my concentration right to come on live. So, dealing with family issues, it'll cause you to have to focus on your family issues. And also, this weekend, I was in San Antonio with my brother. His granddaughter was playing in her first, in one of her volleyball tournaments. She go to St. Mary in San Antonio, Texas. So I was tied up and doing that. And, I wasn't even focusing on what was going on the YouTube channels or, what was going on. And I was able to catch a couple of lives on Monday when I was waiting at the airport to come back to California. And I know there's a lot going on in these YouTube channels. But first of all, I just want to start off by giving my condolences to Bridget Omar. I pray that God keep your mind in perfect peace, and I'm praying for your family. And I pray that God keep your strength because I know it's a difficult situation, and I know don't nobody have the right word to relieve your pain right now. But believe me, I'm praying for you, Queen, that you come through this. And I have been listening in to a little bit of what's been going on, and believe me, it's been a lot going on in these YouTube channels, and sometimes it can be really discouraging what's going on. But I want you guys to know that um, you can believe half of the stuff these people say. These people are so disconnected from God that they will say anything and do anything to try to get you to come against another person and to believe you in your situation because of what you did or what you heard. Stop believing the hype. These people have no power over what God is doing in somebody's life. God is doing stuff in people's life because sometimes it's your timing. I know we are supposed to, our kids is supposed to be bearing us. We're not supposed to be bearing our kids, but everything happens for a reason. Everybody got an exit date. Nobody's going to live internally. And stop believing these people narrative on the reason why you're going through what you're going through. Let me tell you something. A lot of these people on this YouTube channel is so disconnected that they got a form of godliness, denying the power. They will act religion but reject the power that could make them godly. These people will have you believing a lie, and it's not even the truth. Don't believe their narrative of the situation of why you're going through what you're going through. Just know that God have you going through that at this time because it's your timing. These people are, I mean, I listen to some of them sometime and I'll be like, wow, you are so insensitive and so disconnected from other people's feelings, like completely disconnected, like you're unsensitized to what people are going to. You want people to believe your narrative that God is working in your behalf when you're speaking damnation in somebody's situation and you're not even realizing what they're going through because you're so desensitized to sensitivity because you're trying to get yourself to a place in life where it can't even keep you. Like you're literally tearing somebody's situation down and gloating over their disfortune to make you look good. And then you got a bunch of people that you're speaking damnation into their lives, that they're underneath that same demonic spirit that you're speaking into their lives. And then they wondering why they disconnected when people tell them that, oh, this person died. You're desensitizing yourself because what you're underneath. You got to know when people are speaking life into your life or speaking ungodliness into your life. You got to really question people. What is your motive on this YouTube channel? Why did you start a channel? Did you start a channel for self gratification, or did you start a channel for helping God's people? What did you start your YouTube channel for? Because if you're on here helping people, speaking life into their life, giving and not taking, then you're meeting your purpose. But if you're making your channel grow off of dysfortune, off of people hurt and pain, and then you get to the top and you at the top and ain't nobody up there but you. What was your purpose? Ask yourself, what is your purpose that you have a channel? Because if your purpose is not to empower God people, then it's self-gratification. It's not to encourage, it's not to uplift. It's self-gratification. So you on here to show who you are in the world. I want to know who you are in the word. I want to know who you are in God's word. See, a lot of people, like I said, got a form of godliness versus a relationship. See, a relationship, you recognize God's voice and you feel his presence. See, you can learn to depend on God. You listen to God. You pursue a relationship with other people like-minded to what you're trying to grow in. That's a relationship. When somebody asks you where you've been all day and you can say, I've been with Jesus all day long, because that's a relationship. That's something that you can hold on, that you can grow at. Everybody got a form of godliness. You know the walk, you know the talk. You know all that. It comes naturally. But when you have a relationship, it's just areas you're not willing to go in. It's not, you're not willing to go listen to people that's speaking on people misfortune. It's just you don't feel comfortable in that area because you got a relationship. See, that area don't feed your spirit. See, it's just like you going to a club and then going to church. See, if you're not used to going to the club, you feel out of place. But if you're used to going to church, you feel comfortable because that's where your spirit is comfortable at. That's where your spirit is comfortable at. You can't allow people to throw trash into your trash can. You can't allow that. Where you were sensitive, as they're making you desensitive. You're being conformed to what they're speaking into your life. You conform to their way of life. When you was usually say, oh, when I hear somebody pass away, that bothered me. That messed with my spirit. I wanted to reach out. I got that person in my prayers. For where you saying, oh, you laughing and you gloating about it with them. That becomes their topic. They're always the first one to show up at the funeral, the first one to preach, the first one to tear the person down. They know everybody, they preaching on everybody's funeral, not realizing that they got their own kids, that they got to face their own barriers with their own kids. You got to question a person that's always want to be at everybody's funeral, want to be the talk of everybody's situation, that everybody misfortune. You got to question who you listening to. Everybody on here is not going to heaven. It's some people want to see people win. God, I have you somewhere where you don't want to be, but it's where you need to be. I was in this chat and I'll never forget this. The lady was speaking real life issues that can really help somebody. It was a lot of people in the chat. Somebody in the chat mentioned, it was their favorite content creator coming live. Do you know that whole entire chat left to go over to hear that content creator? God, I have you somewhere where you necessarily don't want to be. But see, God is of the present. He'll have you somewhere because he knows on down the road that you could be facing a situation that person is speaking life into your situation. Because the lady was speaking life-changing moments, something that was going to carry you when you face a trial. So it's not necessarily where you want to be, but it's where you need to be. Because see, that situation, it helped me. I didn't even leave. I watched that whole chat go down to 4 because what she was speaking for what I was facing right now. Everything is not on here to entertain you. Some things is on here to help you grow in God, to help you move forward in your walk with God. Everything is not business as usual. It's some things you need to hear because God is using that person to be able to speak life into your life. Everything is not business as usual. Sometimes God got a rainbow word for us. to be able to help us through our next trial and tribulation. You got to really know who you underneath. Everybody is not for you. Everybody don't want to see you grow. Everybody don't want to be that bridge over your troubled waters. And then you got to question you got to question who you watching. You really got to question who you watching. You really do. It's a lot of people on here can care less. But it's a lot of people on here wants to see God unchanging hand for people's lives. It's a lot of people on here is trusting God for people's behalf. It's a lot of people on here standing in the gap. It's a lot of people on here want to see people make it in life. Everybody is not on here to entertain. It's some people that need to be in chats that they normally don't want to be in because they don't want to hear, but it's where you need to be in order to get you to your next chapter of life. Sometimes you got to trust God in areas that you don't want to be. Because God is, like I'm saying, it's so many different trials that we can go to in life. And it's so many different people on here that's really speaking some rainbow word into our spirit. But due to the fact we confirm to, business as usual, wanting to know what's going on and everything, sometimes we miss our blessing. Sometimes we miss our blessing. You can't be underneath that speaking hatred and damnation and always gloating over people's misfortune and always thinking because it has something to do with them, the reason why people are going through what they're going through. It has nothing to do with, everybody has a time and season. The Bible talks about that. Don't get so distracted to where you get caught up in stuff that doesn't have nothing to do with you. Do you miss your purpose of what God is doing in your life? I think about Martha and Mary in the Bible. Martha was so angry at God because Mary had all her attention on God. Because as soon as God walked in that house, Mary took God's shoes off and started washing God's feet with her hair. And Martha was mad because Mary was not helping her with the everyday chores in that house. But Martha knew that God was going to speak something into her. She knew that God had the answers to everything that she needed to know. That's what I'm saying on here. You can get so distracted. You can be a Martha and get distracted and miss your blessing due to the fact that you're somewhere that you don't need to be. There's so many things that God is trying to do in people's lives on here that people resort to this as their all in all. Sometimes you forget about what's going on your outside life, that you start focusing on this YouTube. It becomes your all in all. And sometimes you can get tied up in the sauce. And then you be wondering, Lord, what's going on in my life? You be acting different. People be noticing your change because what you're listening to. God is a God of love. God is a God of uplifting. God wants to see the best out of everybody. He wants us all to grow. He wants us to mend together when they're going through tragedies. He don't want us to be discouraging people. He wants us to uplift people. If you ain't got nothing positive to say, don't say nothing at all. Don't say nothing at all. If it ain't something to help that person through their trials and tribulations, it's best to not say nothing at all. Just give your condolence. Even if you don't like the person, give your condolence. Everybody got to face that one day. Everybody got a cross that they got to bear one day. And if we can't be our sister keepers, who can we be? Black women are some of the most resilient, some of the most knowing women I have ever met in my life. We have the best discernment. You can bring somebody over to our house, one of our kids dating somebody. We immediately will say, he's not for you. But we cannot distinguish when we underneath the wrong the wrong content creators. We can't distinguish that, but we can distinguish when our kids got the wrong boyfriend or girlfriend. But we'd rather ride with a lie than to stand for the truth. That's when you start got to question who you are. That's when you start got to question who you are, what you stand for, what you represent. Everybody is not for you. Everybody is not for your listening ear. There's a lot of people on here that's hurting, that's going through the divorce. There's some people on here that are sick in their bodies. They're too afraid to bring it to the internet because people will take it and make them feel like they're worse than they are. We're on here to help people. People can't even come on here and say, could you pray for me? Because I ain't got no food. Could you help me with a couple of dollars? Could you pray for my marriage? They're too afraid because we're going to ridicule them. They're going to ridicule them because they're on one side of the chat that the other side don't like. And the minute they see somebody reach out, they're going to ridicule them. So what is your purpose that you're on here for as a content creator? If God people can't come and say, hey, I need you in this area. What is your purpose? Question what you on here for. You can have 1,000 people in your chat, but it ain't nobody getting nothing of what you speaking. It's just like nobody's in your chat. If can't nobody come to you and say, hey, you know something, I need this. Can you pray for me? I'm going through a divorce. Anything. If you can't come to these content creators and say, I need this, doubt them, ridicule you, making a spectacle of you, then what are you on here for as a content creator? You lose your focus and you start getting self-gratification. Everybody on here ain't going to heaven. Everybody on here don't have a relationship with God. Everybody know the talk. Everybody know the walk. You don't know what these people do when they get off this channel. You got to ask God for discernment. You got to ask God, is this where you want me to be? I come on late at night because I don't want to get distracted or reading the chats because I'll get off balance and I'll forget what I'm talking about. So I come on late. Thank you, Shellac. I see you up late. Thank you for being in my chat. I come on late because I have a purpose and I be sitting in my bed wrestling with it, trying to put it together the way that God want me to put it together. This YouTube stuff is new to me. I'm trying to get my T's crossed and my S's twisted because sometimes I get tongue tied, but I know that I have a purpose on here and it's not for self-gratification. If I just help one person, if one person in my chat said, Delane, I need to hear that, then I won what I was supposed to do. I did what I was supposed to do. God is growing me every day. Believe me, it's like I keep telling myself, it's just some alleys I'm not willing to walk down. It's just some tunnels I'm not willing to crawl through. It hurts me to hear that women lost their child. It hurts me to see somebody getting self-gratification over another person's law and believe that God is doing something in their behalf to that other person. God does not work like that. God does not work like that. And if God ever did work like that, then we need to close down all churches and turn them into gyms because God has truly failed us. God is a God of love and compassion. God is a God of second chance. A lot of times I be in people chat and I turn off the speaking part and I'm so interested in reading what people are saying. And I was in this chat one time and I was reading the comments in it and it was talking about, yeah, God will make that person your footstool, your enemy your footstool. It's levels to that because God just don't immediately make somebody your enemy your footstool. See, God starts with self first. See, God got to get your attention because he got to humble you. Because when he decides to take care of your business, he's going to humble you for who's going to get the glory out of your situation. You got to know that God's going to get the glory out of that. He got to humble you down for you won't be puffed up. He got to get your focus off the situation and get it on a solution. He got to make sure that you know that it was him. But in the midst of it, he wants you to forget about that situation because he wants your full attention on him. Because see, he cleaning you up in the process. Because it's gonna be some alleys you ain't willing to go down no more. It's gonna be some tunnels you ain't gonna be willing to crawl through no more. But see, God is working on self first. See, he's getting self ready. See, when God get through with you, then you look over there. You ain't even concerned about that person. Because see, you done moved on to another level in God. That person throwing them arrows at you ain't no more your concern. Them arrows don't even penetrate no more. They just bounce off like a ball. So when they begin to go through their hardship, you look around and say, Lord, you begin to want to pray for them. Because see, God got to get the glory in that situation. He got to get self out of the way. See, the fiery dots is no more concern to you. God is still in the midst of healing, blessing, and transforming people. He is still in that business. I don't care where you at in your walk with God. God will meet you right where you are. God is a bridge over your troubled waters. God said, I sit up high, but I look at low. I'm still in the blessing business. I'm still in the transforming business. I can transform that person. You got to know that God is able, even in your weakest hour and your darkest moment. I was up late at night. I was just tossing and turning in my bed. I was thinking about everything that was going on, and it was just troubling to my spirit. And I kept saying, I want to come on. My daughter called me tonight. I was like, no, I don't want to come on. No, I don't want to come on. I said, Lord, you really going to have to get me to come on here. And you're going to really have to make sure I speak correctly. And you're really going to have to deliver this message in a way, or if not, I'm not going to be stumbling on my words no more. Lord, I need you to put this plain and simple for people can understand it and they can hear it the way that you gave it to me. For I can pour into somebody's lives. Because see, this YouTube stuff is not even about me. God said, make room for me through you. That's why I don't understand people, creators. If you ain't doing nothing to help nobody, to build nobody up, to speak something in somebody's life to help nobody, if they can't come on your chat and say, look, I'm in need of prayer, down getting ridiculed, what are you on here for? Question what you're on here for. Take you a mental break and say, what am I on here for? Who am I helping? You got to really know your calling for where you at. God will have you at the top. And if he can't use you, he will bring you right back down. This is not about self-gratification. This is about self-growing in God to empower God's people. Sometimes we got to trust the process. I don't like the fact that I don't have that many people in my chat, but I don't care if nobody comes. Somebody going to stumble up on this channel that's going to pour into their spirit, that's going to bless them through a hardship, that know that God is able. And that's what my goal is. It's not about me. It's about who I'm helping. I thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. And if there's anything that I said, please hit the like button. And not only that, please leave a comment. Them comments mean so much to me. They help me to know that I'm in the right area. God bless you. Whatever you're going through, I pray that God be with you. Whatever you're facing, I pray that God move mountains. I want to thank a couple of people, and I also want you guys to definitely go check them out because this is an up and coming YouTuber. I love her so much. Shellac, she up late at night. Shellac with Queen T. Go check out her channel. I also want to, in the safe zone. She really, I was at a low point at the airport, and she really poured into my life listening to her channels. Like I said, it's not, sometimes God will have you where you don't want to be, but it's where you need to be, because God is a God of the future. So sometimes God will have you somewhere listening to something. So you got to stay where God have you at. Don't waver in it, because it's something that God is preparing you for. And also, Angel Mom got a testimony. Definitely go hear her. She is speaking life-changing moments, especially as people, mothers have lost loved ones. She is definitely one to listen to. It is so many other people that I listen to, that, but right now God is just giving me them people, and I'm going to try to move in what God is having me to move in and not get ahead of myself. So I just want you guys to really stay blessed and stay encouraged through this week and this Thursday. God bless everybody, and thank you for tuning in to my channel tonight, and have a blessed night.